All right, let's watch one more video. Let's watch one more video here. You guys onto some serious shit. Stuff that you guys have never seen. So guys, my goal here is not to make you guys afraid or scared or make you guys feel like you can't make it out, but it's giving you guys a wake up call because nobody wakes people up. Nobody's out here. Everybody's like this. But what if I offend? What if I offend people? What if they don't like me? What if they cancel me? What if they destroy me? What? It's impossible, bro, for people to speak their minds. People are so asleep. It's unbelievable. Alrighty, let's watch this video. We're gonna do two videos. This is talking about the debt crisis, and I talked about a year ago. A year ago, I predicted the global economic collapse because the debt crisis was so big that it was not sustainable. $31 trillion. You can't even wrap your mind around $1 million, let alone 31 trillion. Who is the money owed to? Who do we owe the money to? The $31 trillion. And why does the fucking government, or why do we, the people, not own the money supply? Well, in 1931, there was something called the Federal Reserve Act that was passed by one of the most corrupt presidents in all time, President Wilson, an absolute crook, planted there by JP Morgan and all these organizations that wanted to get rid of small banks and monopolize that, because if they could monopolize and privatize money, because money is privately owned and privately printed by the banks that are owned by people that make the rules, and you do not benefit from it. All right, let's first play. Let's watch this shit. Spam in the chat one if this has been valuable to you so far. Are we better today than we were yesterday? Shout out in the chat. Are we better today than we were yesterday? Who's ready for this journey? Who's ready for this journey, baby? Come on. We're halfway through the year. A lot of you guys told yourself you're going to do something. You told yourself you're going to push forward. You told yourself you're going to win. You told yourself you're going to work out. You're going to eat healthy. You were going to change the way of your life. But somewhere along the line, you lost your goal. Somewhere along the line, you lost your fire. And I understand why. Because it's hard to be a lone wolf. The system teaches you to be in it for yourself, to be alone, to be a lone wolf, to be focused on your own bag. A lone wolf is a wolf that has no pact, or whose pact has disowned or killed him, or been killed. There's no such thing as a lone wolf, because when times get tough, the pack needs to stick together. Most of you guys don't have a pack. Most of you guys are alone. You're peasants. You have no network. You have no system. You have nobody that is there to help you. Zero, zilch, none. And it doesn't bother you. Well, with Capital Club, you're going to get access to that. I'm going to show you the way. Let's watch this shit, baby.
So I always ask myself, how can you build a product? How can you build a community that is sustainable, that gives back to the people, that empowers people to win, and that ultimately pushes you and propels you towards the future? Because you don't want to be living in the past. You don't want to be living in a 9-to-5. You don't want to be living in a cubicle being told what to do by some ugly boss. You want what? Time freedom, location freedom. And that means you got to use things like a fucking laptop to succeed. It's very simple. You make money on the internet. Now, in 2016, when I got started making money online, in 2017, when I started ecom, it was a little bit taboo. I recognized it. But in 2025, you have no excuse. 2025, people are making millions of dollars online. Mom and pop shops on Etsy are making tens of thousands of dollars selling things that they like. You can do it too. But I understand it's daunting. I understand it's challenging. I understand the mental blocks because I've been there. I was that guy. I was you. But with the right resources, the right information, the right ecosystem, you can also get what you want. Time and location freedom and making money online. You see other people doing it. It's not a lie. All you have to do is hop on Twitter, type ecom, very simple, and you'll see all the screenshots of people making money. It's real. The question is, are you going to apply yourself? Are you going to find the right community, the right resources? And are you going to take advantage of the fact that people are making money because people are spending their time on their phones? When was the last time you bought clothing in person? Buying things on the internet. So why be a consumer when you can be a producer? It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. What we did is put together all of the necessary tools, resources, community, experts, live streams, AI tools, store building methods, all into one hub, Ecom Society, so that you can get access to this digital revolution, the e-commerce revolution. It's real, it's here. The question is, are you going to be the one buying, or are you going to be the one collecting the coin? The choice is yours. I'll see you guys inside. Ecom Society is finally here. Epic e-commerce community, and it will be, as it is, designed to be the largest e-commerce community on the planet. See you inside. Nothing to lose, everything to gain, because we have a refund policy. It's literally zero risk, all reward. See you inside.
Okay, Godfrey Bloom. If you guys don't haven't studied his content, I highly recommend you do. He talks about the debt crisis in Parliament and about the central banking system. Short little video.
For the FD group, Mr. Bloom, 2 minutes.
I'm a baby boomer. I was born just after the war. We've probably had the longest period of peace and prosperity globally, I would say, from that time. I've put a little bit of modest money away so I can hand something down to my family when I pass on, largely because I've never spent more money than I've earned, and I've been prudent.
Why the fuck does the government spend so much money? Can somebody account for like $1 of spending? One? You know what's the craziest part? The COVID relief package, there was like a $10 million transgender package that was destined for transgender prostitutes in fucking Thailand. That's your money, bitch. They're stealing from you and you ain't even mad about it. You ain't even mad about it.
Prudent, and I've worked moderately hard. Now, it always seems to me as a complete surprise to politicians how countries get in debt. Let me explain, because I don't think you really understand it. It's because politicians consistently spend more money than they raise in taxation, more money than they can possibly raise in taxation, most of which, in point of fact, they actually waste. The reason we're talking about countries which are broke, and they are broke, is because they're ridiculous, ineffective, ignorant politicians consistently spend more money than they can raise. And then they borrow, and they borrow, and worse, they then print money because politicians and their central banks have a machine which prints money. You do that as a private citizen, and it's a criminal offense.
You print a single dollar, and you go to prison. Does that make any sense? Do you think it's some sort of fairy tale, like nebulous organization? No, it's people. It's people, the biggest scammers of them all, that run the game. They run the game. Look at this man's face. He's fucking, look at him. He's livid, bro.
You would go to prison for...
But you know what's interesting? He came to this conclusion 20, 30 years into his career. You're getting into this conclusion in your teens, in your 20s, in your 30s. You stick close to me, you're gonna have a good ass life.
Doing that, and politicians and their central banks do it all the time. Let me explain to you that these countries are broke, and they're broke because
the US is okay, this is the scenario. The United States is broke. The United States is poor. Do you understand? Poor. I want somebody to give me a very basic understanding. if I make $50,000 a year and then I spend 60,000 and I am negative 10,000, what am I? Am I rich or am I broke? Am I rich or am I broke? Answer that, chat. Am I rich or am I broke? I'm a broke ass bitch. And we're $31 trillion in debt. And for some reason, you think you're safe. Do you understand that that debt needs to be paid? No, you don't.
Because of their own stupid leadership and politicians, and it's immoral to ask ordinary taxpayers of any country to pick up the tab for failed politicians and failed banks. They are defaulted, they're broke. For God's sake, let's all of us admit it.
So it's extremely important to understand this, right? It's extremely important to understand that the situation that we're in is horrible. It's not only horrible, it's happening all around the world. Broke as fuck. $31 trillion. To who? To the central banks that are privately owned, to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. You guys ain't ready for this shit. You guys ain't ready for this shit because we're about to go deep. About to show you guys how the system actually works. When you understand the system, guys, this is not conspiracy shit. When you understand the system, you understand the rules of the game. When you understand the rules of the game, you know how to play. Most of you guys are working for money when they're out here printing it. Do you not understand that I can hop on my phone and make tens of millions of dollars, as I've done, and it's verifiable and it's proven? I made $250,000 this month alone just shorting a token called GMT. That's a fucking Ponzi. And I've told everybody to do it publicly on my Instagram. Most of you guys haven't done it because you don't listen. You don't understand that I actually know what I'm talking about. I hold the keys. And I'll prove it again and again and again. And consistently, I'm going to prove it. Next, let's run this shit again. Next video. This is 2 years later. Same guy. Same guy.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I think what we're dealing with here is a triumph, is it not, of hope over experience.
Look at this bitch. Look at this bitch.
Talking about things which aren't the problem. The problem that we have.
People are, bro. Oh yeah, we need transgender reassignment surgery bills to get passed. We need guys to use girls' bathrooms. This is the bullshit that they're keeping you busy with. This is the bullshit that they're keeping you busy with while they snort cocaine off of hookers' asses in their fucking ivory towers, looking down at you like a fucking ant while you fight over the dumbest ass shit. It's unbelievable.
We have is a flawed banking system, a fractional reserve banking system, where bankers can lend money that they don't have. And if you go back in time to the United...
Let's talk about fractional reserve banking. What is fractional reserve banking? Fractional reserve banking is when you put money into the bank right now, even though it's FDIC insured, and it won't happen if you're in China. It won't happen if you're in China. Right now, look up hashtag Shanghai, okay, on Twitter. They have put tanks. They have put tanks in front of the central banks because they have just frozen everybody's money. But you ain't going to hear about that shit. Of course you're not. Fractional reserve banking, you get a fucking dollar, you deposit it into the bank. You no longer own that dollar. You have put that dollar into a system and you get what in return? Interest. Because you're loaning them your money and they're giving you interest. And they've gotten so good where the interest is basically zero. That's how good they've gotten at lying. And guess what they do now? They have what are called your minimum balance availability, your minimum balance. So if they have $1, they can go out and print 9 of fake money. that has never existed, credit. And they go and lend that back out to you on interest. Oh, I'm going to put in $1. Let me get a mortgage at 5% APY of money that you just printed out of thin air. And guess what? Now I'm going to work like a slave to pay off my APY in what I own, not APY, APR, excuse me. And that's where you're stuck. And you're stuck in a slavery system. That's why I fucking hate real estate. I hate these mortgages. I hate a lot of these things because you need to be at a certain level with certain people, with certain bankers, with certain rules, with certain tax lawyers. You have to play the game like they play it. If not, you're not going to be able to compete.
United States in the 1850s, that was a capital offense. You could hang for that. Now we have this extraordinary situation where we've had regulation.
In the 1850s, what happened? All these banks you had your receipts, money, right? Money was a receipt of what? Of the gold that you had stored in the banks. So what did these clever bankers do? Well, they did what they always do. They lie and they say, well, we have more gold than we actually have. And then people were like, well, we want to redeem. And then people started getting scared. And then they're like, well, maybe they don't actually have the gold because it was all fake. All the banks got shut down. It's coming again, guys. It's happening. It's just right in front of your face. You guys are dependent on the system. You're dependent on the system. And when the system that is man-made collapses because of greed and corruption from both sides, every side, up, down, black, white, blue, purple, yellow, Asian, African American, Nigerian, Chinese, Arabic, American, Norwegian, doesn't fucking matter. They are all the same. They have the same condition, which is greed, manipulation, and narcissistic fucking dystopian dictatorship. When you understand this, you're going to be free from the system. But until then, you'll live in your illusion.
Regulation, lots of regulation. It's been the wrong sort of regulation, hasn't it? And so we've had another disaster. And none of this is actually going to save us from another disaster down the line. It's bound to happen because we haven't addressed the real problems. And that is your fractional reserve banking system. We must have a commodity bank on the one hand, an investment bank on the other hand. So, Commissioner, you talk about banks' ability to withstand shocks. Well, by this definition, by your definition, a shock is people turning up wanting their money back. You know, that's not...
It's exactly what I said. What happens if everybody goes to the bank today and says, I want to pull my money? Oh, well, you have to fill out this form and you have to tell us why you're pulling out this money and where you're putting this money. You have to tell us where you're putting this money. Oh, how do we know it's not laundered? Oh, you have cash? Oh, you have cash? What are you going to do? You're going to go buy drugs? Some fraudulent ass shit. Go and pull 100 grand from the bank account if you have that money. Look at how they look at you. They look at you like you're some sort of freak of nature, that you control your own money. They'll look at you as a freak of nature.
It's not a shock. That's a sort of should be a day-to-day occurrence and should be dealt with accordingly. And we're talking about bankers' bonuses, an absolutely wonderful way of taking everybody's eye off the ball. What we've actually had here is criminal activity by bankers, and not a single banker has been sent to prison.
None of them.
This is extraordinary. Billions of pounds have been
because they run the game.
Taken away from taxpayers, taken away from depositors, bondholders, and yet not a single banker is in jail.
None of them.
This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. We really have to use the law of the land, not so much regulation, and printing money. And central banks are equally culpable, make no mistake. I'd like to see some central bankers in prison. And I call quantitative easing counterfeiting. Printing money is counterfeit. It's illegal. If a private citizen did it, they would go to jail. So let's look into our own hearts, the very unpleasant arrangements that politicians, bureaucrats... and
look at this bitch raising her hand. I'm going to argue as to why we can fucking steal. I'm going to argue as to why we need quantitative easing.
Central bankers have between themselves at the expense of the taxpayer. Let's end it, and let's end it now.
And you know what happens? He talks and nothing happens. You know why nothing happens? Because it's up to you. It's up to me. You can't control the game, right? You're too small to control the game. You have to learn the game. You have to learn how to play it. And you have to get out. And that's what Capital Club's about. That's why you're here. You're here because you know something is wrong and something has to change. Guys, You're not in diapers anymore. Do you understand this? You are responsible for your life. Take it seriously. God damn, bro. Take it seriously for your own sake. I got out in 4 years. It took me 4 years to get out of the system. 4 years of pure work and dedication. 4 years. And they tell you, no, just work 40 years, and then you hit the age of 65 and you have a 401k. You're living in a trailer house. You have your one little dinky ass car. You cannot take care of your family. You get put on Medicare, get paid on all these government subsidy bullshit ass projects that are half funded, that are a scam, that are overpriced because what you pay for isn't what you get. And then they bring in a story or an anomaly to make you feel good. Yeah, but look at this person, it was super beneficial for them. It wasn't, bro. Take control of your life, please. All right, I haven't been reading any of these comments. If you guys have any questions, please ask them in the chat. We got 10 minutes. Let's finish strong. Let's finish strong today's chat, guys. I hope this was beneficial. One in the chat, if you're leaving better today than you were yesterday. That is the goal. That is the goal. You leave better today than you were yesterday. Put one in the chats if you're leaving better today than you were yesterday. I'm trying to give you guys the sauce, right? Like, this is free. This is free information for you to win. All right, perfect.